Hello and welcome, guys. Today we're going to be discussing a topic that is all too common in relationships: the narcissist who picks fights. So if you've seen any of my previous videos on narcissism, which you can still feel free to check out anytime, then you already know a narcissist is someone who has an exaggerated sense of self-importance and a lack of empathy for others. They often seek attention and admiration from others and can become easily agitated when they don't receive it. That definition pretty much gives you an idea of who the narcissist is and why they lean towards fights and arguments. And we'd be talking in depth about that in this video. But that's not all. Aside from looking at the psychology behind narcissists picking fights, you'll also get a bonus before the end of the video that'll bring you up to speed with some of the most common arguing techniques these narcissists employ to preserve their egos. I encourage you to stick around for that, because it's going to be super helpful info. Welcome to our channel, where we talk about the journey to self-development. If you're new here, we trust you're going to love this video. And if you're a subscriber, thank you for coming back. Without further ado, here we go. Why do narcissists pick fights? One reason they do it is to assert their dominance. Narcissists crave power and control, and starting a fight can give them the opportunity to assert their dominance over the other person. They may feel threatened by someone else's perceived power or success, and fighting allows them to prove that they are the superior one. First, it's important to understand that narcissists are driven by a deep need for power and control. They want to be the center of attention, and they want everyone around them to bend to their will. One way they try to achieve this is by constantly trying to prove themselves to be the alpha, the leader, the one in charge. Narcissists may also pick fights with people who they perceive as a threat to their sense of superiority. For example, if a narcissist sees someone as more successful or popular than themselves, they may try to undermine that person's accomplishments in order to feel superior. Know that this behavior is often a tactic used by narcissists to maintain their sense of superiority. It's not about the argument itself, but rather about the narcissist's need to feel superior to others. They are not interested in healthy, respectful communication or the resolution of conflicts. They just want to win and exert their dominance over others. Another reason they pick up fights is to deflect blame. Narcissists often have fragile egos and fear being seen as flawed or imperfect. If they find themselves in a situation where they may be at fault, they might start a fight to deflect blame onto the other person. This allows them to shift the focus away from their own mistakes and onto someone else. One way they do this is by picking fights and deflecting blame onto their partner. For example, let's say a narcissist is running late to a dinner date because they couldn't decide on what to wear. Rather than acknowledging their own responsibility for the delay, they may start an argument with their partner, accusing them of not being considerate of their time. This shifts the focus away from the narcissist's own behavior and onto their partner, making it seem like the problem is with the other person. Note that this is not a one-time occurrence, but rather a pattern of behavior that is used repeatedly in order to avoid being held accountable. It can be emotionally draining for the other person, who may feel like they are constantly being blamed for things that are not their fault. You should recognize this behavior because it can be damaging to both the person they're picking the fight with and to the relationship as a whole. Set boundaries and do not allow yourself to be manipulated or blamed for something that is not your fault. The narcissist may also pick fights in order to distract from their own flaws or mistakes. By constantly starting conflicts and shifting the focus onto their partner, they can avoid taking responsibility for their own actions. Now, let's be clear. Not all conflict in a relationship is a result of narcissistic behavior. However, for those who struggle with narcissistic tendencies, picking fights can be a way to deflect attention away from their shortcomings and shift blame onto their partner. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content about self-development and improving your life. It really helps our new channel, and your kindness will go a long way. Now, Let's bring this back to real life with an example. Say a narcissist makes a mistake at work and is afraid of being reprimanded. Instead of taking responsibility, they may come home and pick a fight with their partner over something small, like not doing the dishes or leaving their shoes out in the living room. By starting a fight, the narcissist is able to shift the focus onto their partner and away from their own mistakes. You see, narcissists are often insecure about their own flaws and mistakes. They fear being exposed as imperfect or incompetent, and so they try to distract from their own shortcomings by focusing on other flaws instead. One common way they do this is by starting arguments or conflicts with others. By picking a fight, the narcissist can draw attention away from their own flaws and onto someone else's. This allows them to deflect criticism and maintain their image of perfection. You need to be aware of this behavior and not fall into the trap of letting a narcissist manipulate you. But it's not just in relationships where narcissists pick fights. They may also do this in professional settings, such as the workplace or even with friends. They may constantly argue or disagree with others in order to assert their superiority and get their way. Not all fights with narcissists are intentional. They may do it due to their lack of empathy and inability to understand how their actions affect others. However, it's important to be aware of these behaviors and not allow yourself to be manipulated or controlled by a narcissist. If you've ever been in a relationship with a narcissist, you know firsthand how draining and emotionally exhausting it can be. They are masters at manipulating and twisting reality to fit their own needs, and they often use certain tactics to win arguments and make you feel like you're the one at fault. I'll be letting you in on a few of these tricks I've noticed as someone who's had to deal with narcissists in the past. These techniques can be highly effective and often go undetected, leaving their victims feeling confused and unsure of what just happened. One common technique narcissists use is the crazy-making technique. This is when the narcissist acts erratically or unpredictably, causing their victim to feel like they're walking on eggshells and constantly trying to appease them. This can be especially damaging in long-term relationships, as it can erode the victim's sense of self and leave them feeling constantly on edge. Another tactic to look out for is what I call projection. This is when they accuse you of doing something that they themselves are guilty of. For example, they might accuse you of being selfish or manipulative, even though they are the ones who constantly put their own needs above yours. It is a really frustrating situation because it's difficult to argue against someone's accusations when they are projecting their own behaviors onto you. A third technique narcissists use is called triangulation. They bring in a third party to validate their own beliefs or behaviors, often at your expense. For example, they might talk to a mutual friend about an argument you had, trying to paint you in a negative light, and make themselves look good. It can be hurtful, especially because it feels like you're being attacked from all sides, and you might start to doubt your own perceptions and values. These are just a few of the toxic argument techniques narcissists use to try to win arguments and manipulate the people around them. If you're in a relationship with a narcissist, it's super important to be aware of these tactics and to try and protect yourself from their emotional manipulation. Remember, you deserve to be treated with respect and kindness, and you don't have to put up with being constantly belittled or undermined. Thank you for watching, and I hope this video has been helpful. If it was, do give it a thumbs up, leave us your thoughts in the comment section below, and hit that subscribe button too. See you soon.